What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's documentary review of Notturno. This film, of course, is directed by Gianfranco Rosi. Now, before we begin, hey, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below on any video that you watch, including this one. So this documentary, Notturno, which actually translates to Night in English, is basically the documentary about the kind of war-torn world that is the Middle East at the moment. You know, whether that be ISIS or bombings or just the chaotic nature to live in a place where you don't know if you could die or live the very next day. And in essence, what Gianfranco Rosi is doing in this documentary is following several individuals like most documentaries do, but instead of having talking heads, he's doing what a lot of documentaries don't do, which is not have anybody speaking, no interviews, and just allowing the camera to just sit there and follow individuals in these 4 different countries throughout a 3-year period. And what ends up happening is, instead of giving, a very narrative documentary, you're giving a very kind of naturalistic view of these individuals as they play along in certain scenarios. And it's really, really fascinating to watch, because these type of documentaries really give you a true slice of life of how horrific it can be to live in the Middle East. And I like documentaries like that. I like documentaries that are willing to kind of just let it go, just let it kind of form on its own. And that's exactly what happens here. Whether you have a young kid who's bird hunting, or whether you have a mother whose daughter has been kidnapped by ISIS, or you have a bunch of kids who have seen this ISIS situation, it's a documentary that just kind of fully envelops you and basically plays on every single emotion that you have available. And it's a really fascinating thing to watch. It's a documentary that is not easy to watch, is not simple, but it does very kind of lead you along. It does a nice job of giving you a perspective that you may not necessarily have, which is pretty important and pretty prevalent in the world of documentaries. If they're able to kind of grab you and kind of keep you moving, but keep you kind of at the edge of your seat and the subject matter that they're prevailing upon, it can work in pretty good spades and stuff like that. So with that said, I love this documentary. It's one of my favorite movies of the year so far, even though it's only January, because it's so hard hitting. It doesn't pull any punches. Like I said, there's an incident. One of the most horrific things to see in this documentary is we have some kids, young kids who basically should be out on a swing or having fun with the other kids or enjoying life, and instead they're talking about and showing pictures and giving interviews to a woman about what they saw in ISIS concentration camps, and the murdering and the victimizing, and just the horrific nature of the Yazid culture, and just how brutal of stuff they saw between, if you know anything about what happens with ISIS, it's very, very brutal. And as I was watching this scene, I was just like, man, this is just to have to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and to just kind of have to go through something like that, just see a long-term effects of how it's going to affect you later on in your life. It's pretty powerful stuff. And you got one point where a woman is in a jail cell, and she's reliving the moments of her son being killed and tortured. And there's a woman who has a cell phone, and she's listening to her daughter who's been kidnapped. And you see like the military and what they have to go through. It's a documentary that is so hard to watch, but is so kind of important in this day and age with everything that's going on, that it really puts its heart on its sleeve and really just presents something that, whether you like it or not, is a true horrifying situation, but it's something that needs to be seen. And like I said, when you have documentaries like this and Collective and I'm Not Your Negro and stuff like that, it just gives you a true sense of how evil the world is, but there is some true light behind, at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, in this documentary, there are portions where we see people in like normal settings and as normal as it can be, and just how they have to go day by day and live by life, but they're able to prevail and prosper. And it's, it is nice to see stuff like that happen, but it's such an unsettling documentary. It really is. It's such a powerful documentary. It's one that I will never truly forget, because it just sits at the corner of your brain and just kind of ekes into your mind. And it's a pretty powerful documentary. I keep saying that, but it's pretty powerful in its representation. And like I said, there are other scenes in this documentary which I'm not even going to talk about, which just truly gives you the nature of like how difficult some places truly can be to live in. And just, yeah, It's good. It's real good. If you have a chance to see it or rent it or whatever you can do, definitely check it out. The cinematography in this documentary is fantastic. The natural lighting is fantastic. But yeah, when it comes down to it, the documentary is fantastic. It's definitely worth a rent. But just go in knowing that it's not an easy documentary. It's not something that will make you feel happy and fun and excited after you come out of it. But it's a documentary, like, you know, a lot of documentaries that when it works to a pretty good extent. So, but that's it. That's gonna be my take on this documentary, Notturno. Thank you so much for watching. If you decide to see this documentary, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. Otherwise, let me know what your favorite documentary is. But otherwise, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.